In 2014, the peaceful city of Anyang in Henan province was hit by a rare and violent storm. For hours, dark clouds blanketed the sky, thunder echoed non-stop, and heavy rain poured down as if trying to wash away the entire landscape. Although the locals were used to rainy seasons, no one had ever seen a downpour this extreme. Dirt roads turned to mud, farmland eroded, and even once solid cliffsides began to crack. But this intense storm accidentally revealed something buried underground, something that had been hidden for centuries. As the first morning light broke through the clouds, a farmer named Zhang Guoliang went out to inspect his fields. Following a collapsed section of land, he discovered the entrance to a pitch-black cave. The opening was small, but the inside stretched deep into the earth. Zhang, curious and experienced with natural caves around the area, thought it might be a good shelter for livestock and decided to take a closer look. But as soon as he bent down, a wave of cold air blew out from the hole, sending chills up his spine. Despite the unease, Zhang grabbed a flashlight and crawled in. The beam illuminated the damp cave walls, and just a few steps in, he spotted a small, decayed wooden coffin, about 1.5 meters long, around 1 feet 6. When he shined the light inside, he froze in shock. Lying on the ground was a skeleton with a bizarre shape, a pig's head on a human body. Beside it was a smaller, more delicate skeleton, likely that of a young woman around her 20s or 30s. The silence in the cave was unsettling, broken only by the slow drip of water from the cave ceiling, adding to the eerie scene. Before Zhang could recover from the shock, his flashlight caught a glimpse of a rusty metal object next to the strange remains. Carefully, he reached out and realized it was a 9-pronged rake, each prong nearly the length of a human hand. What stunned him even more was the writing engraved on the handle, 4 clear Chinese characters that translated to "reserved for Wu Neng." Immediately, the image of a legendary figure flashed through Zhang's mind. Zhu Bajie, the half-human, half-pig character from the classic tale Journey to the West. Could this be groundbreaking archaeological evidence that Zhu Bajie wasn't just a fictional creation, but once walked the earth in real life? Or was it just an extraordinary coincidence, a strange mirror between myth and reality? Zhang stood frozen, heart pounding, knowing he had to tell others about what he'd found. News of the discovery spread through the village like wildfire. Within hours, the path to the cave was crowded with curious villagers, all eager to see the mysterious find. From elders to young men, people worked together, tying ropes and using wooden poles to try and lift the coffin from the damp earth. But the more they pushed and pulled, the heavier the coffin seemed, unnaturally so, as if it held something far beyond the weight of mere wood and bones. Sweat soaked their brows, but every effort ended in failure. Despite the combined strength of dozens of people, the coffin barely moved. Someone suggested using levers, but even then, it stayed fixed in place, as if it was anchored to the ground. Eventually, exhausted and bewildered, they gave up, leaving the coffin where it was. This strange heaviness only deepened the mystery. It wasn't just the pig-headed skeleton or the ancient rake that disturbed them. It was the weight of the coffin itself, as if it was protecting a secret long forgotten by time. The crowd murmured, eyes locked on the skeleton and the 9-pronged rake. Elderly villagers who had grown up reading Journey to the West were especially stunned. The resemblance to Zhu Bajie was too close to ignore. In the famous story, Zhu Bajie was once a high-ranking general in the heavens. After making a grave mistake, he was banished to Earth, cursed with the form of a pig-headed man. His signature weapon was a 9-pronged rake, and the name Wu Neng was given to him by his master, Tang Sanzang. Now, seeing a skeleton and a weapon exactly as described in the tale raised a chilling question. Was the fictional story actually inspired by a real person? Adding to the unease was the second skeleton beside him, a woman's remains. In the story, Zhu Bajie once married the daughter of a village chief. This new detail fed into the growing belief that the similarities might not be coincidence at all. Some villagers believed it was real, others called it coincidence. A few even claimed it might be physical evidence, tied to old legends that mainstream history had ignored. Before the village could settle down, news of the real-life Zhu Bajie discovery reached local authorities and archaeologists. In less than 24 hours, the cave was sealed off, security fences were put up, and a team of experts began examining the site. A team of archaeologists led by Professor Li Wenhao arrived at the site, fully equipped with modern tools, ground scanners, soil sampling instruments, and cameras capable of capturing every close-up detail. Under the watchful eyes of local police and a few journalists, Li's team began their careful approach to the cave, determined to uncover the secrets hidden within the darkness. Police quickly set up barriers around the area, allowing only a small group of reporters to document the scene in order to ensure safety and preserve the cave's condition. As high-powered lights were turned on, an unusual skeleton became clearly visible, leaving everyone stunned. The skull, about the length of a forearm, had a pronounced snout typical of a pig, with deep eye sockets and prominent cheekbones. There was no doubt it belonged to a pig. What shocked them even more was that the skull was attached to a nearly complete human skeleton. The spine, ribcage, and limbs were all intact. The joints connected naturally, with no signs of forced tampering. Each tiny detail, from the neck vertebrae to the finger bones, showed a level of anatomical precision that was hard to believe. Professor Li instructed his technicians to perform a mobile CT scan on site. When the 3D image appeared, the team fell silent for a moment. The connection between the pig skull and the human spine was seamless. Fossilized cartilage still showed clearly. If this was a hoax, the creator would need surgical knowledge and technical skill far beyond what any prankster could pull off. An expert in animal biology compared the skull to 132 preserved samples of wild and domestic pig skulls in a museum. She pointed out that the curve of the forehead and the unusual bone seams resembled an evolutionary hybrid never before recorded. Her assessment left the gathered reporters breathless. If true, this could be physical evidence of a human-animal hybrid that once existed in history. The chemical analysis team used radiocarbon dating C14 to determine the age of the bones. The results dated them back roughly 620 to 680 years, matching the late Yuan and early Ming dynasties. That timeline also coincided with the life of the author of Journey to the West, increasing the possibility that the character Zhu Bajie was inspired by a real being. The nine-toothed rake found nearby was also analyzed under an electron microscope. Layers of rust indicated natural oxidation over centuries, not something planted recently. The story immediately divided both the public and the academic community. Some believed this was solid proof that the literary figure Zhu Bajie was based on a real hybrid. Others argued it was just coincidence, or a clever fabrication amplified by media and imagination. However, when Li Wenhao's team dug deeper into the far end of the cave, they made a shocking discovery, an artifact that had been hidden for centuries. This new clue had the potential to change everything previously believed and open an entirely new chapter in both archaeology and public discourse. As measuring and documentation neared completion, the team decided to continue excavating deeper. The soil near the cave's end was noticeably different, softer, moist, and appeared to have been disturbed long ago. The team worked slowly and carefully, peeling back the earth layer by layer. Within just 30 minutes, a large object began to emerge, catching everyone's attention. It was another wooden chest about the length of a person. Though decayed by time, faint and intricate carvings were still visible. The designs included swirling clouds and, in between, an unusual figure, pig-headed, human-bodied, holding a nine-toothed rake. Despite being faded, the carvings clearly showed the hand of a master craftsman from centuries ago. On the lid were two engraved Chinese characters, later translated by a language expert to mean, "Heaven grants an unusual form." The team noted an uncanny similarity between this phrase and rare handwritten versions of Journey to the West, said to be preserved secretly by a few scholarly families in northern China. Upon opening the chest, they found a bundle of ancient paper, traditional handmade sheets, though badly decayed with age. Using infrared scanning, they managed to read most of the writing. The text resembled a diary, written by a temple guard from Henan province during the late Yuan dynasty, roughly the 14th century. He described a man with a very unusual appearance, pig-like head, great strength but kind and gentle by nature. The man often helped villagers repair levees, fix bridges, and rescue people during floods. One record mentioned a massive flood that swept through an entire village. This mysterious man reportedly gave his life trying to save a group of women and children. Strikingly, the diary's author referred to him using the name Wu Neng, the same monastic name given to Zhu Bajie in Journey to the West. After reading the contents, Professor Li Wenhao fell silent for a long time. Deep down, he understood, if all of this proved to be true, the discovery could reshape Chinese history. Zhu Bajie The half-human, half-pig figure, once believed to be fictional, may have actually been inspired by a real person who lived hundreds of years ago. The archaeological team's discovery quickly became a trending headline across online news outlets, spreading rapidly through forums and social media platforms. Millions shared the story, while numerous YouTubers and bloggers flocked to the scene to livestream, drawing hundreds of thousands of live viewers. Just as public excitement peaked and people began to imagine a real-life Zhu Bajie, a new update arrived from the Artifact Analysis Unit. While crowds outside the cave continued live streaming and heated debates erupted online, Professor Chen's team quietly completed the first round of tests on the unusual skeleton and the ancient journal. A heavy silence filled the lab as everyone fixed their eyes on the screen displaying the results. Time itself seemed to pause. The half-human, half-pig skeleton that had stunned so many was neither a natural fossil nor the product of some unknown evolution. The skull was confirmed to be that of a wild boar, while the body belonged to an adult human. Clear metallic tool marks were visible where the two had been joined. This revelation shook all earlier theories about Zhu Bajie being based on a real hybrid creature. More importantly, radiocarbon isotope testing revealed the bones were only about 60 years old, dating back to the 50s, not the Yuan or Ming dynasties as initially suspected. As for the ancient-looking journal, further analysis revealed that while the paper was traditional, the ink was synthetic and characteristic of the 20th century. Some phrases used modern expressions inconsistent with classical writing. This raised a new question. This wasn't just a prank, it was a highly sophisticated fabrication. The combination of anatomical assembly, artificially aged materials, and believable ancient context had fooled experts in the early stages of excavation. Professor Chen noted that whoever created this would need advanced knowledge of anatomy, history, and archaeology. This wasn't the work of an amateur. The findings were immediately reported to the excavation committee, and an emergency meeting was held that night. A pressing question remained unanswered. Why would someone go to such lengths to craft a pig-headed, human-bodied figure and bury it deep inside a cave? Was it meant as a prank, a test of human curiosity, or was it hiding something even deeper? Meanwhile, outside the cave, rumors continued to spread. Several YouTube and TikTok channels rushed to post videos claiming Zhu Bajie is real, long before any official confirmation was released. When the truth came to light, it shattered the dreams of millions. But surprisingly, the story took an even stranger turn. According to confidential local records, the area was once a hideout for a secretive group that collected and recreated legendary beings using real bones. Records about this group disappeared over 50 years ago, leaving behind a historical gap that had never been fully explained. After days of combing through archival material, the archaeological team uncovered a crucial lead in a provincial museum storage room. A classified report from the 60s revealed the existence of a mysterious group made up of artisans, sculptors, and a few traditional medicine experts. They believed that mythical stories were not purely fictional, but sometimes reflections of real people and events from the past. Their mission was unusual: to reconstruct legendary figures using actual human and animal bones. They would collect bones and assemble them to match the forms described in ancient texts. These creations were never displayed publicly. Instead, they were hidden deep in caves or secret shelters, as a way to keep legends alive. The report also noted a devastating flood that destroyed one of the group's hideouts. After that, all traces of them vanished, and most of their creations were considered lost. However, the half-human, half-pig skeleton recently uncovered by Li Wenhao's team appeared to be one of those lost artifacts, preserved by soil and time for decades. This revelation ignited passionate debates online. Some felt disappointed, believing it was nothing more than a well-crafted hoax. Others were fascinated, convinced that even if the legendary figure never truly existed, it was extraordinary that someone had devoted their life to turning a myth into something tangible. Experts concluded that the character might not have existed in reality as described in ancient literature. But thanks to those who built the skeleton, the legend had been brought to life in a vivid and unforgettable way. At present, the authenticity of the so-called Zhu Bajie tomb in Henan remains a topic of debate. Archaeologists, historians, and cultural researchers all agree further studies are needed not just in archaeology, but also in cultural and historical analysis of the region. Until then, the mystery of this strange tomb will continue to stir our imagination, belief, and curiosity. What do you think about this story? Leave a comment below and let us know. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss more fascinating content. See you next time.